Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Well, a bit of a departure from the music of Elton John today because I'm going to take you through my collection of music by this legendary jazz artist, Ella Fitzgerald. Now, Ella Fitzgerald was one of the great jazz voices of the 20th century. And within the kind of jazz community, there are those who favour Ella Fitzgerald, those who favour Billie Holiday. Now, I've got to say, I'm a fan of both singers, and they both had kind of different styles of delivering a jazz standard. Ella was perhaps the more precise, the more perfect singer, with also that ability to interpret songs in her own particular way, especially with kind of scat singing that's making up words to a particular melody, going off the beat, going off the tune, and coming back. Whereas Billie Holiday, of course, had a more sort of slightly wilder lifestyle, you could say, a lot of personal problems, and the pain of those personal problems came out through her singing, which you could perhaps say is more emotional than Ella Fitzgerald's delivery. But, we can appreciate both artists, I certainly do, and you can take the same song and listen to different versions of it from each artist, and that is very satisfying. Yeah, a little bit of biography about Ella Fitzgerald. She lived from 1917 to 1996, was known as the Queen of Jazz, the First Lady of Song, Lady Ella. That's the sort of thing it says in her Wikipedia entry. I suppose the most impressive thing about her is the catalogue of songs she did interpreting the Great American Songbook. So we're looking at composers such as Rodgers and Hart, Ira Gershwin, Cole Porter, Irving Berlin, Harold Arlen. And she did whole CD collections, whole album collections, kind of almost doing the definitive recordings of those particular songs. They're very satisfying to listen to, actually, especially as she does the kind of the lesser known verses of some of these songs, which then lead into the much better known refrains. So I'm going to take you through some of the collections I've got and make a few suggestions as to ones you might want to listen to first. Now, this collection here, Pure Ella, is a selection of Decca recordings. What you've got here is the Ella Sings Gershwin album. But then you've got another set of 12 songs with Ellis Larkins at the piano. So you get 20 songs altogether. I'll give you some of the titles, but not for me. I've Got a Crush on You. These are great Gershwin songs. And then we've got things like Nice Work If You Can Get It as well, and the beautiful Hoagy Carmichael song Stardust. The interesting thing about these is that the second half of these are just done with the piano. So it's just Ella Fitzgerald singing with the piano. And it's really a good opportunity to just hear the quality of her voice. Just her and the piano in the studio, nothing else. And if you want a little introduction to how good she is just on her own, then that's a pretty good place to start. Now, this is an interesting quality album as well. This is Ella Fitzgerald. It's called Daydreams, the best of the Duke Ellington songbook. This is performed with the Duke Ellington Orchestra. Duke Ellington, of course, name-checked by Stevie Wonder with the Sir Duke song. That's a tribute to him. Great band leader, of course, and composer. Listen to the tracks on here. Take the A Train, Solitude, a beautiful love song. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Another great one. And Mood Indigo. So you've got some upbeat songs and some more moody ones as well on here. The orchestra here is very loud. It's very powerful CD, this, and really good recordings. Now, these Verve Jazz Master CD collections are pretty good. I must admit, I'm not keen on the covers of these. It's not particularly exciting, is it, that? So they could have done a bit better with that. But the music you get is going to be great. And it's got some of the recordings here from Porgy and Bess, which is George Gershwin's opera, of course. So there's a couple of tracks on here from that. I Loves You, Porgy, which is an absolutely beautiful song there. And a mixture of her other tracks, including a Tisket, a Tasket, which was almost kind of her first hit. Quite a kind of childish, simple song in a way, but it's interesting to have that on there. So there's all other things like These Foolish Things. I've got The World on a String, The Man That Got Away, which is a great Gershwin composition there. So Mac the Knife as well is another one that she does, and does some incredible live versions of that as well. So that might be worth trying. Now, she did these collections of songs. This is Ella Swings Lightly. These are Verve sessions from 1958. And some quite sort of lesser known songs on these, backed up with a pretty good band here. In fact, looking through, I'm thinking, well, Blues in the Night is on here. If I Were a Bell, and one or two others which are not necessarily that well known. In fact, I'm struggling. Little White Lies is on here, which is pretty good. But if you're looking for orchestral jazz with a good vocalist and some kind of lesser known songs, that one might be a good one to look at. As is this one, Ella Swings Brightly, with Nelson Riddle, who of course was the band leader for Frank Sinatra for a long time. These were recorded in 1962. What sort of things have we got on here? Love Me or Leave Me, I Hear Music, I Won't Dance, The Gentleman is a Dope. Lots of great jazz standards on there, and you know, the band is pretty kicking on this. You know, they certainly are swinging brightly. This is one of those cheapo collections. This is a Laserlight Ella Fitzgerald collection. Very early tracks on here, back to 1939. So some of the tracks are not that well recorded, obviously, now. But it's got things like that old Black Magic on there. What else? Basin Street Blues, of course, is a wonderful song. Stairway to the Stars. So again, for a completist, interesting, they put an older picture of Ella Fitzgerald on there, even though she was very young when she recorded these. Now, talking about great covers, have a look at the picture on this one. Now, that is a fantastic picture of Ella Fitzgerald. This is a best of collection from MCA. Again, mainly early things like Stardust, Making Whoopee, Can't Help Loving That Man. So there's a few later ones, a bit of Gershwin on there, How Long Has This Been Going On? Happy Talk, which is, of course, from the famous musical. So there's a few interesting ones on there. But again, when you get a lot of these best ofs, they tend to be early tracks which the companies have got hold of and are putting out. So it's not necessarily a whole career retrospective. I've got a couple of live ones here as well. This is Ella Fitzgerald performing in 1957. Now, she did a lot of touring with just a trio: Oscar Peterson on piano, Herb Ellis and Ray Brown on bass. Now, these go pretty well. You know, she's just singing with a trio, but it's a great trio. Obviously, Oscar Peterson is a legendary pianist. So this has got things like Bewitched, Bothered and Bewildered, which is absolutely beautiful Rodgers and Hart song. What else? We've got Moonlight in Vermont, Lullaby of Birdland, the George Shearing composition. That's a really good one. Do Nothing Till You Hear From Me. That's the Duke Ellington song. It's got April in Paris, Just One of Those Things, the Cole Porter song, and The Lady is a Tramp. Rodgers and Hart composition. So plenty to go on there. And if you want to hear, like a full concert list to see how good she was live, this is a pretty good place to start. Also from 1958, we've got this one here, which is Ella live in Rome. She's got the same band with her on this one. Maybe one more player. She's got a drummer on this one, Gus Johnson. But again, this is the full set list. It's got that old Black Magic, Loves You Porgy, Midnight Sun, Ladies a Tramp, Caravan as well, which is a Duke Ellington song. So again, another one if you want to hear the authentic voice live. So a couple of vinyl collections here as well. This is the best of Ella. Another one of these fairly early sets of music. Still interesting. I Wished on the Moon, that old Black Magic, Love is the Tender Trap. But it's not really the whole career you're going to get on that one. And this one is the incomparable Ella. Now, this one from Verve is more of a whole career retrospective. So we've got A Foggy Day in London, I Get a Kick Out of You, I Got Rhythm, and I get a few liner notes on the back of that one. So probably if you're looking for a bit of vinyl introduction, that might be a good one to go to. So what do you think of Ella Fitzgerald? Have you heard many of her tracks? What's your favourite Ella Fitzgerald song? And how do you think she compares with Billie Holiday? I'd be interested in your comments on this one and whether you're actually into jazz, what you think of her performances. Leave your comments below, subscribe if you want to, and I'll be back soon with more news and reviews about classic music.